This is Radio Serbia broadcasting to Europe and North America. Serbian Prime Minister Aleksandar Vučić announced in Munich that 2 German companies intended to employ some more people in Serbia. Siemens is to employ another 220 people in their Subotica factory, while another German company wishes to invest in Serbia and employ 2,000 to 3,000 people, specified Vučić. In Munich, he discussed Serbia's economic measures and its difficult but safe course to the future, which Serbia has chosen. The Prime Minister began his visit with participation in a business forum, where he met with representatives of some 30 Bavarian companies. The meeting was organized by the Serbian Chamber of Commerce with the help of the Munich Chamber of Commerce. Vučić will also meet with Bavarian Prime Minister Horst Seehofer, Minister for Europe and Regional Relations Beata Merk, and numerous Bavarian business people. The head of the Serbian EU accession talks team, Tanja Miščević, said she was optimistic about the Belgrade-Pristina dialogue and that she expected progress by September. She said that the principles of the definition of the Union of Serbian municipalities were the most important in the dialogue. As for the action plans to be presented in Brussels, she told Radio Television Serbia that the procedure was very complicated, that chapters could be expected to be opened in 3 to 4 months at least. The admission of Kosovo to UNESCO would be a precedent that would be detrimental to the functioning of that organization, which is very important for Serbia because of the protection of its cultural heritage, said the head of the Serbian EU accession talks team, Tanja Miščević. Commenting on Kosovo's application for UNESCO membership, she said that, unfortunately, there is a lot of politics in international organizations, and what Serbia can do is to conduct strong diplomatic activities and explain in UNESCO to what extent such a precedent would be detrimental to UNESCO's functioning. She told Radio Television Serbia that non-UN member states could hardly become admitted to UNESCO. The plan of Serbian President Tomislav Nikolić for Kosmet has not been seen even by Serbian ministers. Belgrade Daily Večernje Novosti writes. The daily writes that Nikolić sent a plan to Prime Minister Aleksandar Vučić in early May, but the discussion that document which should politically establish the new state strategy towards the southern Serbian province has not begun. The first round of talks on the platform could be included in the agenda only early September, as the government's priority at the moment is to maintain political stability after the 20th anniversary of the crime in Srebrenica and on the eve of the 20th anniversary of Croatia's storm operation. At this moment, it is the most important for Belgrade to reach compromise with Pristina in Brussels on the formation of the Union of Serbian municipalities and to realize prerequisites for the opening of the first negotiating chapters in EU integrations. Intellectuals, members of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts and the Serbian Orthodox Church should present their position on the new platform. The Ministry of State Administration Local Self-Government is continuing its promotion of local self-government units all over Serbia, and it is Loznica's turn this week. Loznica is a town in western Serbia and it boasts excellent tourist potentials. Tršić, a village near Loznica, was the birthplace of Serbian language reformer Vuk Karadžić, while famous Serbian geographer Jovan Cvić was born in Loznica. The Ministry of State Administration Local Self-Government initiated the idea of the promotion of local self-governments on a weekly basis, aiming to present every town municipality to the Serbian and international public. At a ceremony on the Mikhail Meski Stadium, Tbilisi, Georgia, the 13th European Youth Olympics Festival was opened. In the opening ceremony, the Serbian flag was carried by Katarina Lazovic, the captain of the women's volleyball team. The festival was officially opened by Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili. Serbia is being represented by 62 athletes in 5 individual sports: swimming, athletics, gymnastics, judo and cycling, and also by the men's and women's volleyball teams and the men's basketball team. On the first day, July 27th, competitions in athletics, swimming, basketball and volleyball will be held. And that was the news.
This is the International Radio of Serbia. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This is the International Radio of Serbia. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This is the International Radio of Serbia. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
German companies are interested in investing in Serbian economy, and those that are already doing business in Serbia announced the expansion of production, Prime Minister Aleksandar Vučić said after the business forum in Munich. Vučić is on a visit to the German federal state of Bavaria, during which, apart from business people, he will meet with the Prime Minister of the province, Horst Seehofer, and Minister for Europe Regional Relations, Beate Merk. Miljana Blanuša has more. Bavaria is the second largest economic power among the German provinces, and it is developed more than many countries, said Vučić. According to him, cooperation with the province is of great importance for Serbia because it allows the transfer of knowledge and technology, which is essential for the development of Serbian economy. Vučić reminded that trade exchange with Bavaria in 2014 amounted to 734 million euros, which exceeds the level of trade with many other countries. Interestingly, the trade surplus is on the Serbian side, and last year it reached the amount of 190 million euros, largely thanks to German companies operating in Serbia, such as Siemens and Leoni. Vučić announced that in the coming period, the two German companies are to employ several thousand people, which shows that they are satisfied with business conditions, primarily labor. He said that the representatives of the company Airbus discussed the possibility of development of the aviation industry in Serbia, as well as joint production of training aircraft. The Prime Minister stressed that Serbia will continue with the reforms because the objective is to develop economy and attract new investments. Director of the company Siemens, Udo Eichlinger, announced that his company will open a new facility in the factory in Subotica and hire another 220 workers. He said that in the last 10 years, Serbia has made great progress and it is a good destination for investment. Therefore, the company plans new investments and expansion of production. The business forum organized by the Serbian Chamber of Commerce and the Munich Chamber of Commerce was attended by more than 30 Bavarian companies involved in automotive, metal and electrical industries. Representatives of German companies were informed about the reforms implemented by the government to improve the business climate in Serbia, as well as benefits of investing in the Serbian economy. In addition, of all the German provinces, Serbia has the most intensive economic cooperation with Bavaria. Members of the Serbian parliament are discussing a set of financial laws which introduce discipline in the country. Employees of the International Radio Serbia are losing jobs in a few days, and in fall they will be joined at the Employment Bureau by 9,000 people from the public sector. Mirjana Nikolić has more. The law and the method of determining the maximum number of employees in the public sector asks of the authorities to take responsibility and rely on clear criteria, determine where there is excess and where the shortage of workers, said Deputy Prime Minister Kori Udovički, explaining the bill. It is expected that the number of employees will retire or leave the public sector with severance pay, because the current situation is unsustainable, Udovički says, while pointing out that there are some good aspects to this. This law provides that from the beginning of 2016, as long as the users of public funds do not exceed the maximum number of employees defined by this law, it will no longer be needed to obtain special permits for employment of replacements, explained the minister. In the next 3 years, reduction in the number of employees should annually reduce the expense for salaries from the current 11.8% to 8% of the GDP. Udovički expects the biggest problems in local self-governments because utility companies funded by the local self-governments will be covered by this law, which has not been the case so far. Leader of the Democratic Party parliamentary group, Borislav Stefanović, said that the previous government also dismissed workers, but this government has been elected so that the situation would be better, not to see the way out in dismissal of cleaning ladies, while the persons with personal ties with the political party are being hired on a daily basis, he said. 9,000 families will receive severance pay and benefits, which they will spend to repay all debts. And what will happen to these people then? You expect them to go to the private sector. Be serious, please, says Stefanović. To the objection that the act does not cover the Republican public companies, Finance Minister Dušan Vujović pointed out that the criteria in those will be even stricter. He says rationalization is a good start towards healthy finances, and the market defines what jobs are needed. We can lament over 9,000 people, but what is important to me is 7.5 million people and what they expect. They expect that the country finally comes out victorious from the process of restructuring, attracts investments, starts creating new jobs, and shows that it is possible to solve all the problems that we have inherited from the past in a fair way, added the minister. Minister Vujović explained the laws that will introduce financial discipline in the whole country through payments to be made within 60 days, even in the private sector. The Parliament is also discussing amendments to the law on public procurement, and most of the objections voiced by the opposition MPs pertain to the bill on the sale of the state-owned assets, which will be offered to tenants without public bidding. The agenda includes the extension of the deadline for withdrawal of loans from the European Investment Bank for projects of health care centres.
Viminacium, the city and military camp of the Roman province of Upper Mysia, is one of the most significant archaeological sites in Serbia. A series of ceremonies dedicated to this year's celebration of 17 centuries since the signing of the Edict of Milan has recently taken place at the site. Serbian archaeologists Mihailo Valtrovic and Mile Vasic began archaeological excavations at the Chir site on the right bank of the Mlava, were first to point to the remains of the Roman city of Viminacium. The material movable findings and parts of structures they came across showed it was a famous Roman military camp, rectangular in outline, outside of which a civil settlement stretched across some 220 hectares of the inner city territory. Further excavations, which have been intermittently undertaken ever since, confirmed that Viminacium had the status of a Roman town in the first half of the 2nd century AD, during the reign of the Emperor Hadrian, and prospered for several centuries. There was hardly a Roman emperor who did not spend time in Viminacium, primarily because of its extremely important strategic position on the northern border of the Roman Empire. In addition to Emperors Hadrian, Septimius Severus, Diocletian, it was repeatedly visited by Constantine the Great. The Roman villa, which was built a few years ago, inspired by homes of wealthy Roman citizens, hosts an exhibition entitled Constantine the Great and Edict of Milan, the birth of Christianity in the Roman provinces in the territory of Serbia, featuring more than 180 artifacts that have invaluable cultural, historical, and artistic significance. According to the director of the National Museum, Bojana Borić-Brešković, the exhibition in Viminacium presents items from collections of 10 museums throughout Serbia, including the National Museum in Belgrade. The artifacts originate from different localities belonging to the reign of Tetrarchs in the late 3rd and early 14th centuries, as well as the most representative artifacts from the time of Constantine. The exhibition in Viminacium will enable visitors to see gold jewelry, fibulae, chest covers decorated with reliefs of high artistic value, silverware, statues of gods, as well as a few portraits of Roman emperors, including the most famous portrait of Constantine the Great. Exhibits also include parts of mosaics and frescoes, sarcophagi and stone gables, which bear witness to the beauty and harmony of distinctive Roman and late antique architecture, which increasingly involved elements of the Christian era. Bojana Borić-Brešković testifies to the priceless cultural significance of objects displayed at the exhibition in Viminacium by saying that when many museums in the world want to present the time of Constantine, they cannot do that without borrowing artifacts from museums in Serbia. These past few years have seen major exhibitions in Milan, Rimini, and Trier. Director of the Viminacium Archaeological Park, Mir Korać, also says that this is a place that one has to visit while following the traces of Roman culture in Serbia. He has pointed out that 1/4 of all the Roman emperors were born in the territory of present-day Serbia, including Constantine the Great, who, with his Edict of Milan and the latter form of government, made our time look like this. He was visionary, far-sighted, and ingenious. Since 17 centuries ago, he realized how important it is that everyone be tolerant and equal, be they Christians or pagans. Pointing out that Serbia has a rich heritage, Korać expressed hope that the beautiful face of Serbia presented at the exhibition of Viminacium will be presented in the same manner throughout the world next year. But for the world to gain a complete picture of the cultural heritage of Serbia, realization of the project Itinerarium Romanum Serbiae would significantly contribute. It would include the Roman cities of Sirmium in Sremska Mitrovica, Belgrade, Viminacium, Đerdap, Felix Romuliana, Leskovac and Leban, as well as an important Hellenistic site, Kale Krševica, near Bujanovac. This ancient Roman route would also encompass the spas and sites of the late antiquity and the Middle Ages.
Dear friends of the International Radio Serbia, we continue our program with the Music Heritage feature, which today presents the singing ensemble Grlice from Belgrade. We open up the show with their rendition of an old shepherd song from Vranje entitled Gde si bilo jare moje.
Gde si bilo jare moje, gde si bilo dušo more, gde si bilo jare moje.
U planinu gazdo more, u planinu dušo more, u planinu gazdo more.
Koj te čuva jare moje, koj te čuva dušo more, koj te čuva jare moje.
Svi čobani gazdo more, svi čobani dušo more, svi čobani planinari.
The singing ensemble Grlice was established within the ballet school Lujo Davičo from Belgrade during the classes of the traditional singing at the Department of Folk Dances. Today, the ensemble consists of former students of this school, some of whom are professionally engaged in singing. The Grlice are performing traditional songs and trying to present the atmosphere, time and environment in which the songs had emerged as authentic as possible. Through many performances, the ensemble is passing their love for singing to younger generations, and in the older ones they are awakening the memories of yesteryear. The ensemble is headed by young artist Miroslava Đokić, who had graduated from 2 departments of the Music Academy in Belgrade, the Music Education Department and Conductor Department, in the class of famous Darinka Matić-Marović. Miroslava Đokić works as a professor in the school Lujo Davičo, and she had been gaining the experience in folk music interpretation in folklore ensembles Kolo, Avrašević, Radičević and Vukica Mitrović in Belgrade. Therefore, since 2000, she has been working as a folk singing teacher in the academic cultural folk troupe Lola in Belgrade. The next number in today's edition of the Music Heritage is another interpretation of the Grlice ensemble. This time, it is a folk song from the Knin region entitled Od ljubavi niko nije umro.
Joj, od ljubavi nije umro niko, od nas dvoje jedno ćemo diko, joj. Joj, od ljubavi nije umro niko, od ljubavi nije umro niko, od nas dvoje jedno ćemo diko, joj. Joj, od nas dvoje jedno ćemo diko. Crne oči Bogu su mile, meni su se, majko, zamjerile. Crne oči i Bogu su mile, crne oči i Bogu su mile. Meni su se, zamjerile. Joj, 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 ljubi dragi čoša koda stala, ja sam drugom ljubav obećala, joj, joj, ljubi dragi čoša koda stala, ljubi dragi čoša koda stala, ja sam drugom ljubav obećala, joj, joj, ja sam drugom ljubav obećala. Svaka gora čeka lista svoga, a ja mlada lole suđenoga. Svaka gora čeka lista svoga, svaka gora čeka lista svoga, a ja mlada lole suđenoga, a ja mlada lole suđenoga, joj, joj.
The Department of Folk Dances in the ballet school Luja Davičo, where the ensemble Grlice has emerged, was founded in 1988 with the goal of teaching the younger generations to preserve the songs and dances from those parts from oblivion. The initiative came from the members of the only professional folklore ensemble in Serbia, Kolo, wishing to educate their future members in this school. Soon after, the singing ensemble has separated as an individual entity, and their performances in the country and abroad have brought many awards to the school Luja Davičo. At the end of this music heritage feature, you will hear a song from Kosmet entitled U selo Kavga Golema.
U
At the end of today's program, we would like to thank our friends and listeners of the International Radio Serbia who started a petition for the survival of our house at the address www.ipetitions.com. Serbia needs international radio. The fate of our radio is still uncertain because the Serbian government has not decided whether to finance the existence of the National World Service. Dear friends, you have listened to the English service of the International Radio Serbia's broadcast, into which you can tune on 6,100 kHz in Europe or 6,190 kHz in the United States. We would like to thank you for your attention and for tuning in, but we will be glad to receive your critics, objections and suggestions, for which you can contact us through our email address radiou@sbb.rs or on our regular mail Hilandarska 2, 11,000 Belgrade, Serbia. Also, you can visit our website www.glasserbia.org.